everybody, it's Cindy Bishop with Cindy with Bishop Worldwide. Today we've got Conversion with Jolene Moore, one of my very favorite classes. In fact, I drive poor Jolene crazy a couple times a year to teach it. So for those of you that don't already know Jolene, and I know that a lot of you do, she's the Vice President and Senior Home Loan Consultant with Main Street Home Loans. In addition to top-rated mortgage lending specialist that Jolene is, she's a value trainer with us, and she has been in a coaching program for years that has really made her and cut her out as an excellent business building leader. Anyone that has been in any of her trainings have already seen the value of working with Jolene for sure. Not only that, but her attention to follow-up is extraordinary. She is a gifted business building expert in lead generation, conversion, and in-depth market knowledge. Don't forget to attend her at the beginning of the month. It's always the first or second Tuesday of the month at 1 o'clock is her market updates. And again, she is just extraordinary. So welcome, Jolene.
Thank you, Cindy. All right. Thank you all. So for those of you who are able to get on so far. So I think what I wanted to bring up is when there's a chat box. So if you want to open that up so that you have the ability to ask any questions while we're doing this. Also, I am more than happy for you to unmute yourself and ask any question that you might have as well. Or if you want to share anything, if there's anything that you're doing that has been successful in your business that you'd like to share with everyone else, that'd be awesome as well, because I want this to be as interactive as possible. So anything that you want to bring to the table, I'm happy to hear. So like Cindy said, so I have been in the mortgage industry for about 18 years. I have now built a team. There's a team of 5 of us that we are servicing all of our clients because I want to make sure that the client experience when they come to us, we make it as smooth as possible, but they also feel cared for and valued and appreciated. So those are the 3 things that we're really strive for on my team. We're a team of women that I feel like, just it has that catering aspect to us. So I feel very proud of that. We just broke 100 million for our volume this year. So it's first time in my career. And I will say that most of that has happened because of the coaching program that I joined 5 years ago. So I joined a coaching program 5 years ago that drastically changed my business. And a lot of what they teach in that program and what I'm going to share with you today is very basic information. It's nothing fancy and, bright lights or anything like that. It's all about basics. And I will tell you, and I'm sharing all those information to begin with, is to tell you that what I'm sharing with you might seem like, it's okay. It works. And I want you to know that it works because I have been working it and doing it for the past 5 years. And my business, from when I started doing all of these activities and tracking and conversion and all of that, my business has probably more than tripled in the past 5 years. So, and I was, I had a successful career for 13 years, but I decided I wanted to take, and go further. So I'm going to share with you some tactics that I have implemented into my business. Like I said, if you guys have questions, please ask along the way. Because I am here to help you. And that's why I do these classes. Like Cindy said, a lot of what I teach with Cindy is about business development. It's what I enjoy the most. Obviously, I enjoy financing, that's what we do. But teaching to you all, I want to help you grow your business the same that I've grown with mine, because the program that I'm a part of does have real estate involved as well. So there's realtors in the program. I've seen this work for them as well. So I want to share it with you all. So 5 reasons why lead tracking works to achieve business success. What I will tell you, before I started tracking my leads in a much more organized format, I had notebooks upon notebooks where I'd keep little notes. I'd be at home and I'd make a note here and I'd sticky note here. And it was, you felt like you were making traction and you had activities going and things like that, but I really had no clear idea of how many leads did I receive a month. I saw what my closings were, but I didn't really know what my conversion was because I didn't track the leads and know where they came from and how many I received. So one of the things that I would say to start out with is you need to kind of set up to figure out how many leads you need, and then figure out what your conversion ratio is. You also need to figure out what are your goals, right? What are your plans for this year, coming up in 2022? where do you see yourself in 3 years from now? And where do you see yourself from 10 years from now? I will tell you, I just came upon a letter that I wrote to myself. It was dated for 5 years, and I wrote it in 2017. So it is for 2022. And I found it last week, and I was looking at it, and this is it's like a 5-year vision that we did as part of a exercise in my program. And it was talking about writing down, where do you see yourself? And it's meaning like, where do I want to be? So where were my kids? Where was my love life? Where was my self-care, my personal body, working out, all that kind of stuff. But then also, where was my business? How many deals did I do? How much money did I want to have in savings? How much had I made? All of those things. I wrote that down in 2017. I will tell you, I found that, and I actually met the goals financially last year in 2020. So it works, when you put it down on paper and you have the plan, because I knew exactly what I needed to do to achieve that. And fortunately, obviously I had some help with the market last year, but what I did and the business and activities that we did allowed me to hit that goal. And all my personal goals were also on track. And, they're about my kids being in college and all that kind of stuff, which all of them, are. So it starts with having the vision of where you want to be next year, 3 years from now, and then 10 years. And then you need to know where the leads are coming from. I'm going to go over a form with you that I use in my business to know where. So when you get a lead, and Amy's in this call with us, and Amy's my assistant, my right-hand person. And we're always like so excited to put a lead on the lead tracker, and we're racing to see who gets to put it on first as soon as we get a lead. And so we want to put on, the lead tracker. We're going to put on who the lead came from, their contact information. What was the activity that happened from the lead? Have we spoken to them? Did we send them a link to the application? Have I scheduled a call? Is there a Zoom call? Whatever the activity that's going to result from that lead is also included on there. And we also track the day that we got it, because I want to know each day. I have a goal of receiving a certain amount of leads each day. And so I need to track that day. So I know each day, how many did I get, and did I reach my goal for that particular day? So that's something that's super important as well. And then knowing what your conversion ratio is. And there's something else, there's a form that I just started this year that's talking about actual, you're putting in there, how many deals did you close last year? And then I tracked it all the way back to 2016. So I can tell you in October, how many deals I've closed in October of 2020, of 2019, 18, 17, and 16. So again, then I've also can tell you how many leads I got in that same month. So then I know what my conversion ratio was going back 5 years. So then you start to see a trend, right? You start to see what that trend looks like. What are you averaging in that conversion ratio? And do you need to make some changes to your follow-up and your process to make sure that that conversion ratio increases? So that's, again, all goes back to keep it really knowing your data and knowing your information, because this is a business, right? A lot of times we kind of, I think, fly by the seat of our pants in real estate, but it's really about when you decide. And I thought about this over the weekend. I was looking at some things, and I'm like, I've created a business. So I'm a business within a business, right? Because I'm part of Main Street Home Loans, but I'm the Jolene Moore team within Main Street. And we have created a business where we have, we know what, like we were just talking about this morning. I don't know if you guys saw an article that came out last week. They're anticipating the purchase numbers to go up 9% next year. And then for us in the mortgage industry, our refinances are going to drop by 62%. So I look to see, okay, based on the numbers we have for this year, if we increase our purchase business by 9% and our refi business goes down 62%, where is that going to put me? And where is that going to put our team of how many deals we're going to be doing each month? And what do we need to do in order to make sure we're staying at where we want to be versus what that number might look like? Fortunately, it kept us very in line with where we wanted to be. And then I also always have a goal every year of increasing by 20%. So with that, that's going to keep us in the target range of where we want to be on how many deals we're doing each month. But again, it's all about knowing all of that information, which is going to help you be able to figure out exactly, again, how many leads you need in order to achieve the deals and the income that you want, which is going to be always go back to what the conversion ratio is. And then, having a follow-up plan, something that we'll share with you. We just have been working on follow-up plans with us for leads, as well as when we get an application, someone that's become pre-approved, we have a follow-up plan that we've put together to be able to, have that systemized to be able to know exactly what we're going to be doing. Speaking of that, Amy, would you message that to me so I can share it here? Thank you. All right. So making sure, I'm going to show you the lead tracker that we use, but also when you take those leads, making sure that you're putting them into your CRM and whatever system you're using for that follow-up plan. And you have to have a follow-up plan, because again, if we're flying by the seat of our pants and we're like, oh, we get a lead. Well, when do you follow up with them? How often do you follow up with them? If you do it a few times and then a month goes by and nothing happened, do you go back and follow up with them again? Like, what's happening to that lead once you get it and it's not converted immediately. The other thing is about time blocking. I look at my calendar every week and I time block of when I'm going to make phone calls. So I go into that calendar, and each day it's going to be potentially different times of the day for me, because based on different meetings and things that I have going on, but I'm going to time block every day amount at least an hour to hour and a half of me making phone calls. So again, time blocking your time to make sure that all these activities occur are crucial as well. All right, so this is just a little bit of lead generation, and some of this is, like I said, old school things you've all heard, but again, something just to keep in mind. One of the things that it can be super helpful for you all is one, trying to have, like, if you have a past client that you really enjoyed working with during the transaction, and I think a lot of the realtors I know become friends with their clients after, because you guys do spend so much time with them. That I think when you do that is just making sure you stay in connection and contact after, inviting them to lunch and asking them to invite a friend, invite a neighbor or someone else that they think you might be beneficial to meet. And again, it might not be something that turns into immediate business, but it's something that can help you in the future and stay connected to, and then take that person and add them to your CRM. So any drip campaigns and follow-ups and things like that, any information you're sharing, which hopefully you're doing videos, you're on social media and connecting with people there, that you're doing all of these activities and including that new contact that you just met as well. Again, this is old school. The name badge was on there. I actually added logo shirt, because I think a lot of more people wear a lot of things connected to real estate by their apparel. I know a lot of men do more than some women, but I think women, we have a lot of Main Street clothes. I bought a sweatshirt that had our logo put on it. I have t-shirts. We have a nice pullover. So anything that you can get that shows that you are in real estate and potentially the company, or if you have a logo with your team, or for you and your business, having apparel made to show that, so that it prompts conversations. Because, I think most people, when they find out you're in real estate, they're going to ask you about the market. Everyone knows the market's super crazy right now. So they're going to want to ask you questions. So that could, again, turn into you having a connection with somebody, getting their information, have them, send you a business card. But the other thing that I think is really beneficial is saving your logo or your contact in your phone. So it's easy for you to be able to just text that to somebody that you meet and say, here's all my contact information, have your picture in it, your email, your phone number, your office address, your website, your social media, all the things that you can put into your contact in your phone that you have readily available to just be able to shoot a text to somebody when you meet them to say, oh, here's all my contact information, please save it to your phone. Let me know if you ever need anything. I'm a resource for you. I'm here for questions, whatever it may be. So again, just finding ways to let people know who you are and what you're doing. And then if you're working with businesses, in your business, or ones you frequent, like if, a dry cleaner or a hairdresser or nails, or, anyone, you get your car washed, whatever it may be, think about trying to, again, have more interaction with them beyond just that time you go into the business. Ask them to go to have a coffee, learn more about them and what you could potentially do to help them with their business, so that then it can become a reciprocal relationship. So I think, one of the things that I focused on 5 years ago was about giving more. I want it to be, especially like for realtors, one of the things I think as a lender that's challenging, and especially for me, is I don't like feeling like I'm asking you for something without giving something back. Obviously, closing a loan is important, but I also want to be able to help you grow your business. And so when I started teaching classes and being able to share things that I was doing, to me, that gave me more value to you. And so it allowed me to try to help you, which hopefully then again, created a reciprocal relationship. So that's something you want to think about for businesses as well. Thinking about going to a networking event, there are more face-to-face meetings going on right now. Think about going to an event to be able to meet people. The other thing I would think about too is meeting other realtors, because not all realtors want to go everywhere here in the Northern Virginia area or Maryland or DC if you're licensed. So, even going to a networking event, like for instance, we're having a happy hour later this week. We're telling the realtors that we've invited that use this as a networking opportunity to be able to meet with other agents, one, learn what they're doing, see what's happening in their area, but it also might connect you with someone that doesn't want to go to Gainesville or Purcellville and you do because you're further out, whatever it may be. So when you go, have the thought of, I'm going to try to meet at least 5 people. I'm going to have kind of a speech prepared, but a speech about their business, like asking them questions about them, not about selling yourself, but about why, what you could potentially do to help them with their business. And then add them to your CRM, add them to your mailing list, do business happy hours, some farming. I know that's becoming, again, I know a lot of people have done it for years, but I've heard more and more people looking at doing it again recently. So these are all things that you can think about, in creating these relationships. All right, I don't know why, but my thing is really slow today. Okay. So also again, this is about lead generation, but about creating a theme day, so like I was talking about with time blocking, and I'm going to share with you something that I can, and I'm going to send out for whoever attended today, will send out a lot of these documents that we're sharing. But what I would suggest is starting to create lists, so like something that Amy and I have been working on a lot is our top realtor list. We also have, working on past client lists. Like we just did a client appreciation event at Cox Farm. And so those clients are going to be on our top list, because they all came, they're all very excited. And, many of them have referred people to us over the years. So creating lists of people that you are going to be able to call and follow up with and talk to on a regular basis. And the reason why you're creating these lists is because it's going to give you the ability to call quickly. So meaning like each day, you're not going to be thinking, who am I going to call today? So like if you came up with like themes for each day of who you want to call. So if on Monday, you're going to call your top 50, favorite people, right? Tuesday, you're going to call people that you're currently in transaction with. So clients that you currently have either, sellers or buyers. Wednesday are new leads that you've received, but also old leads. This is a time to follow up with the leads that you got, a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 5 months ago. Like Amy and I were just looking and going over our lead tracker from May. So we're continually going back and working back to all the leads we've gotten earlier this year and working on to continuing to convert the ones that we haven't converted. So that's another time to do that on Wednesday. Thursday, calling your past clients, so creating that list so that what past clients you feel is your top 50. And it doesn't have to be 50, it can be 10, 15, 20, whatever it may be that you get yourself started. And then you choose that amount that you're going to call every day, every week from that list. So let's say you have 20, I'm going to call 5 people from that list every week. So you're touching base with them at least once a week, once a month. And then Friday could be cold calling. I know none of us like it, but it's an, kind of a way to just kind of build ourselves up to do it. But you could also be calling business people or builders, people that you want to create connections to that you don't currently have relationships with. So when I say, these lists, it's going to help you be able to do those themes every day, in a much quicker fashion and make sure they are actually happening, but then also tracking who you talk to. So what I would suggest is that you then make any notes that you have after that call in your CRM. So that when you talk to them again the following month, you remember what you talked about. They might have told you something about their kids or their job or their business or their home or whatever it may be. That's going to allow you to keep track of those conversations. The other thing I would suggest is a birthday program. We also have that in place, for our, we have one for clients, and then that's more kind of emails and phone calls from me. And then we have some things that we send out for realtors and things like that. So thinking about, we used to do this a couple of years ago, and it was so easy. It was this cute little box that had a Hostess cupcake, a candle, a little blowhorn, and some matches. And we had a little card in there that said happy birthday. And we sent that out to people on their birthdays. So it can be something super inexpensive. Again, if you have the process in place, and, birthdays, ways you can get those is Facebook, of course. Also lenders, like the lender that you work with, or if you work with us, we can give you the birthdays. We're actually working on creating that, where after you work with us, an email will go out to the realtor after closing of the birthdays for the borrowers, so that you can then put them in your CRM and track that. So it's a great way to be able to get the birthdays so that you know when everyone's occurred. Also, of course, you want to become friends with them on Facebook, so you can get it there a lot of times as well. So making sure that you get the birthday so that you can create this birthday program. And again, that could be for your top 50, top 20, it doesn't have to be your whole database. So it doesn't feel overwhelming and consuming. But again, putting a system in place to be able to make sure that you're doing things that are keeping you in front of your sphere. Anyone have any questions or thoughts so far? Anything they want to share that they've been doing? Do they have a birthday program in place, or any theme days that anyone else has created? So another, I don't know what is wrong with my system today. Some additional lead generation ideas. So do a contest. We're doing this right now. I actually talked to another realtor about it as well. But friends, we are doing every quarter. We have always done, anyone that refers somebody to us. So a past client refers us, or a current client refers us. We then put them on our lead tracker. We go through for that quarter, and we put all their names in a bag. We draw their names, and whoever wins, we pull 2 names, and they get a $50 Amazon gift card. So we've done that for all 3 quarters so far this year. This 4th quarter, we decided to do something a little bigger and have more fun. So we are actually giving away Apple TV. So the Apple TV, we did a video on that 3rd quarter and said, thanked everyone who had referred us, did the drawing, and then said, okay, we're going to, end the year with a bang. We're going to do an Apple TV giveaway. So anyone that refers somebody to us is going to go into that drawing. So thinking about anything like that you can do to encourage people, to refer you. And, again, a conversation you can have with somebody if you're making the phone calls is, I really enjoyed working with you. I would love to work with someone else just like you. I would be honored if you know of anyone, that is looking to buy or sell, that you would pass my name along so that we can provide the same service that we did to you. There's a script that you can come up with so that when you're talking to them, that you feel like it's comfortable for you, that you're asking them for the business. And then tell them, and, as a thank you for that, we're having a drawing at the end of this year, and this is what we're going to be giving away. So do you know anyone? And if they say yes or no, if they don't, then say, please, send it. The great way to pass any referral to me is if you do an email introduction, email them and me introducing us, and then I will take it from there. So, having that, that process in place. We also have created an email. I'll share, my team member did this, but this is an email, make it a little, that, we put into place that said because we get a decent amount of feedback of people after they worked with us and said, thank you so much. We really enjoyed working with you. We go back to them and ask them to give us a referral, saying we want to work with help. We need your help. We would like to work with more clients like you, and then tell them about the giveaway. So again, creating an email, creating a script, whatever it takes for you to feel comfortable that it's going to become something that's regularly done for you and part of your process is what you want to be working on. And that, that's the current client referrals, client events. Like I mentioned, we just did Cox Farm a couple weekends ago. We had a great turnout. I think we had 140 people come. So it was really wonderful to see everybody. But again, it's a great event for if you haven't never done Cox Farm, do it next year. Because the thing about Cox Farm is we set up a table outside in the front. People came, we had them an evite done, we had them RSVP, we put a limit on how many people they can bring because some people will go a little crazy. And then we also then had the tickets waiting for them at the table. We had some cider, apple cider donuts, we had some water, we had some other little giveaways. And then the good thing about Cox is you buy all these tickets in advance, but if they don't come, because we had 160 RSVP, so we had 20 not show. We then were able to give them back to Cox and we got our money back. So it's a great way of not having to incur costs for people that don't show, because most events that we do, you're going to have to pay it and whether or not people come or not. So that's a great thing about Cox. So think about doing that next year. But there's, pie giveaways. I'm doing a realtor event with one of my realtors next month who's doing pie. So she sent out, let me know what pie you like. She's going to do a window of people to pick it up and have a location of where they come pick it up. So you still have time to do something this year to be able to get back to your clients and connect with them. So think about doing some type of event. Phone calls. I can't tell you how many people I talk to, and especially realtors, who say, I don't feel comfortable making phone calls, in the sense that they don't want to bother somebody. They don't know what to say. It's awkward. And I will tell you, if you can overcome that, your business will explode. Because that is one of the things that I started doing 5 years ago, because it is so easy to send an email. But you know what? Nobody is in an email like we are. Most people, especially their personal email, if that's what they've given you, are not looking at emails as frequently as we are and as you are. And so making the phone calls, texting too, I think is super beneficial. And that's something we're doing more of lately. But making the phone calls and connecting with them, I think is going to have a huge impact on your business. Because it's just not the same. You're not going to have the same connection, the same interaction, the same conversations that you would if, via email as you would. Because that's the thing, like when someone emails me a referral, like a lead, my first reaction is I want to schedule a time to talk to you. I don't want to keep doing everything over the phone. Immediately, we want to have a conversation because I want to learn more about them. I want to learn about what their plans, their dreams, their goals are. So then we then know how to structure everything properly, but we also feel connected to them and they know that we understand what they're looking for. So to me, the conversation and the phone call is the most important thing. So one of the things you can think about when you're making phone calls is using this forward script. So it's family, occupation, recreation, and dreams. So when you call, think about, before I make phone calls, if I sit down and I'm making a group of phone calls, I'm going to think, okay, what do I want to talk about today? Like, do I have an event coming up, like a class, or like I mentioned, our happy hour or a client event, or what else is it that I can share that's going to be of value to them? But then also, what questions can I ask them? So thinking about that, and again, that will help you feel more comfortable in making the phone calls is when you have a plan. When you fly by the seat of your pants, some people are really good at that. I'm not, but some are. But if you're not, this is something you can think about to kind of help shape what that conversation might look like so that you feel comfortable. And it obviously could take a totally different turn. You could have a different conversation that you planned, but at least you felt the confidence going in of what you were going to talk about, and you could take that next step, making the phone call. Think about that as well. All right. So someone said they use my KV Core to help with birthdays, anniversaries. That's great. I think that's the CRM. So that's awesome. And then do you do pop buys for birthdays or do you mail the birthday packages? I have always just mailed. I do some pop buys. So I will say I do drop some of the gifts off. But then I also do mail a decent amount too, because obviously our geographic area can be quite large and that can be very time consuming, I think, to drive, in traffic and all that kind of stuff. So I think you just have to figure out your day and your planning of that. Obviously, if you're only doing, a few and you plan a day that this is going to be my pop by day, I think it's a great way to be able to try to see people, or at least they get something fun from you that's on their doorstep when they get home. So I think either way, it's just making it happen, I think is the key. Okay, so lead tracker. So I'm going to share with you guys the form, and I'm going to tell you it is so basic. You're going to be like, really, does that really help you? But it does. This
Jolene,
is the lead tracker.
Can I
Yep.
interrupt you just a second?
Yep.
Katie asked this question. Do you do pop by for birthdays?
I just talked about that.
Oh, did you? Oh, okay, I
Yep.
must have missed it. Okay, thanks.
Okay. Okay, so this, I'm going to try to, I guess, can you all see that? Well, everyone see it on their screen? Okay. So basically what this is like I said, we track this, and what we have going down for it, I'll show you mine because mine is on my phone. So this is our October lead tracker, and it shows you, who it was, who the realtor, whether it's a realtor, you can see down here. So it's a current client referral, a past client referral, a past client, a personal friend, a realtor, an advertisement, like if they came from my website or social media or anything like that. Business, so that's for me, title companies or financial planners or CPAs are the main people that refer me in that category, and then builders. And so basically this is all tracking down here, how many you've gotten, and then what your goal is. Right. And then you're going to go up here and put in the phone number, the email, the notes relative to it. And again, the date that it was received. But as you'll see down here, we have this for the entire year. So we have it every month. We have this lead tracker filled out. And as you can see, we've color coded it as well. So we have blue means we've gotten them pre-approved. Green means they've actually turned into a transaction and we've closed them. And so what Amy and I do, each month is we're going back and following up with the people in white. The ones that are crossed through, we know either they decided not to work with us or it didn't make sense and they weren't going to move forward. So we are tracking this every month and then you have it for a whole year, right? So this is lead tracker 2021. I have lead tracker going back to 2017. So I can always go back and find, anyone that I want to try to look for in a previous year. And the thing that's so helpful about this is it like I said, you can color code it, you can track, you can see, who moved forward with you, who hasn't, who do you need to keep following up with, and where in the process do they stand. And it's just something that we are constantly working. Every day we have a team meeting, and in that morning meeting, we talk about what leads we got, what applications we received, and what deals we've started. So it's a constant on our top of our mind of part of our day. So that's what the lead tracker needs to become to you. And again, this is because it's about helping you reach those goals, those visions that you've put into place. So for me, I want to have about 70 leads a month is my goal. Where I think we're at 58 this month. So we have 6 days left, 4 days, 5 days. So we track about 3 to 4 leads a day. So we're well on, should be able to hit that goal. And then my conversion ratio is 30%. So I know if I get 70 leads, I'm going to convert it at 30%. We're going to do about 21 deals a month. So that's why that conversion ratio is so important, is because if you guys want to do, 5 deals or, 2 deals a month or 3 deals or 4 deals, because obviously my deals are, I have to do more deals compared to you guys. So it's figuring out how many deals do you want to do? And then again, once you start tracking this, then you'll figure out what your conversion ratio is. So then you'll be able to know, okay, I need this many leads each month in order to be able to hit that conversion ratio. Anyone have any questions on the lead tracker? Do you see the benefit of it? Do you feel like this is something that could be helpful in your business? We are willing to share this with you so that you guys can, I will tell you that we just use this old school Excel spreadsheet. What happens when they fill out an application, it goes into our CRM. I don't put them in the CRM right now until we actually get an application from them. But I think for you all, because you're not going to get as many leads probably a month as I am, you take each lead and put them into your CRM and then have a follow-up plan and a drip campaign associated with that. So let me hear any feedback that you guys might have and how you think this could be beneficial in your business.
extremely beneficial. I would love to be able to, I guess you have to put it in an Excel spreadsheet, correct?
Yeah, this is Excel. That's what the document is. And it's the easiest because it calculates it and, all the stuff down here and tracks all the numbers for you in Excel. Amy, did you send me that follow-up plan?
I did. I emailed it to you.
Oh, okay, there it is.
Okay, good.
All right, cool, thank you. All right, any other thoughts, any other feelings about it? Okay, well, we'll go on. I hope you guys are feeling more about it than you're expressing.
Jolene, I have to say this is very, very good. And like you said, if you work it, it'll work. I can see this is awesome.
Exactly. And I will tell you, here's the thing too about this is that it's going to take consistency and take time. So you start it and you keep doing it and it's going to happen, but you can't do it for 2 months, 3 months, 4 months and think, oh my gosh, nothing's happening. It took me time, it's going to take 6 months to a year of you really consistently tracking everything, the follow-up, all of that consistency, and it will happen. So just give yourself the ability to know that you're going to have to put in a lot of work before you actually might see the results, but the results will come. I promise you. I've been doing this, like I said, for 5 years, and we keep growing each year because we keep expanding on the process and the activities we're doing.
I really like it because somebody like me, I keep saying, I'm going to do this. And I have in the past, if you look at my track record, but now it's like nothing. And that's because when I really, if I'm honest, I'm not doing anything. but this lead tracker will get me back on track. Thank you.
Yeah. And the thing too, I think what happens, especially when you're, one person running your business, it can be challenging to, because you get busy, right? And that's what was happening with me too, is you get busy and then you have a great month and then then your prospecting isn't happening because you're busy, right? Because you're working on those transactions that you have. And so then the prospecting goes away and then you hit a valley, right? Then you work, and then you get that peak. So what I would say, and that's why it goes back to the importance of the time blocking, is working in your business, and on your business, both of them are very important. And you have to make sure that you're time blocking to do both. Because obviously if you're a one-person show, you have to, you have to manage the transaction. And I totally get that. I would highly recommend adding help when you have the ability to do so, doing a transaction coordinator or something like that. Because you guys should be, obviously you got into sales for a reason and you got into real estate for a reason. So you need to be doing the prospecting because that's what you're, good at. And so you need to keep doing that and making sure these activities are occurring even when you get busy. And that's one of the hardest things I think in our business is we can have a lot of peaks and valleys. And that happened to me for years until I finally added a team. And that's why I have the team. And I'm not suggesting you need to go and hire 5 people, but work on that, work on adding somebody to help you. Because I have a lot of great realtors I work with and they're so nervous about it and they don't want to add it. And I totally get it, but I will tell you, it can change your business once you get to that point and you have that confidence in yourself. Because that's really what it is where we don't have confidence in ourselves. Like I'm getting ready to hire another person and I've been balking at it for like 3 months. And I finally told my team, I'm doing it today because I was having fear myself of thinking, oh, can we keep this going? So that's always going to be there. But you got to just, if you keep at it and keep doing the activities, then you're going to keep seeing the results. All right. So let's go to some of the chats. All right. So Kay would be helpful for sure. Thank you, Kay. I know I'm going to, can you please send this? Yes, we will send that to you. Is it Zai? Tell me if I'm saying that wrong. Katie will send it to you. Yes. And then we have also done videos on Cindy's website of a lot of these forms. And then I'm at a document. Okay, we'll share that with you as well. Okay. All right. So let's go back to the presentation. So all of what we just talked about is what we just went over from the lead tracker. Gosh, why is this so bad? don't know what is happening. It's like kind of like Zoom. It's like, is it not liking being connected to me either? Okay, so we've already talked about the scripting, continuous touches, something in the forward script. The other thing I will mention to you is letters of the heart and evidence of success. This is something that Amy and I were just talking about. I haven't done a mailing in quite some time to my database, and that is something that we're going to be doing this hopefully by the end of this year. So that's something I would say that is important for you all to continue doing, or if you haven't done so, do it. And a letter of the heart is where you write a letter about yourself. So sharing something about you that gives a little bit of a more personal aspect, so that they can connect with you in a different way than they may not have been able to during the transaction. Like where you're from, like I'm from Kansas, no one would know that unless I told them. I have a child that's at ODU and a Penn State and a 5-year-old. No one would know that unless I told them. So, there are things like that that you can kind of connect that shares a little bit of something about you. One of the letters I wrote one year was that I was behind on my retirement planning, and I met with a financial advisor to make sure that I got on track. So sharing it could be something of pain that you've shared that you've then come up with a solution for, and then, offer something to them, whatever it may be, just something from your heart, basically, that you want to give to your sphere, to your database. And then evidence of success, something you've done in business, again, that they may not know about, that you can share, that you, obviously we have a lot where we put on the market and it escalated 100,000 over, or, it sold in before it even went on the market. So many different things that are happening right now that you could share, again, with your sphere to help them understand the market and understand what your abilities are and how you can help them, should they be looking to do that. The other thing that we've been doing this month, that I will also challenge you all, is we did a CMA a day contest. So we challenged everyone to try to do one CMA a day for the month of October. I would challenge you guys to do that and do it for the rest of the year or November, because basically what that's doing is allowing you, and you could do this by doing an annual review. Like if you have clients that you haven't talked to this year, they've owned the home for at least a year, and you want to check in with them and just see how things are going. Or maybe it's been 5 years since they owned, but they bought it 5 years ago from this year, and check in with them and see, is there anything that's planning to change? Kind of going back to that forward script. Is the home working for you? Is it big enough? Is it too big? Whatever those feelings might be after they've spent so much time in it, over the past year and a half. But also, are they interested to know what the value of their home may be because of where the market is and things that have happened? Are they looking to do any home improvements? Or do they have some debt they need to pay off? Whatever conversations you can have, you reach out to your database and offer to do a CMA for them. So then you give them that information. And then if it's something they're looking to, potentially do down the road, add into your CRM to make sure that you're staying in touch with them, because they're like, oh, we may look at selling next year. Okay, put them in your calendar so you're following up with them next year. Or we have some debt we need to pay off, or we'd like to do some home improvements. Let me connect you with a lender who can help you with that refinance and potentially take out some of the equity of your home to help you do that and see if that makes financial sense. So there's so many avenues that you guys have to be able to help your clients right now because of the equity position that so many of them are in. So making those phone calls and having those annual reviews would really help put you top of mind for them for now and for the future. So those are some things that you could be doing right now too. All right, greatness tracker. This is another form that I use every single day. And I don't know how many of you guys have heard of this system, but I'm going to share it with you. I used to carry like 3 or 4 notebooks, and I got this thing called Remarkable. And it has a pencil that you write on. It feels like it's just like writing on paper. And you can upload PDFs to it. You can take notes and email it. Like I take notes, send it to my team from here. There's so many great things that you can do with this. So what I have done with this is I have uploaded my greatness tracker to this system, to this Remarkable. I'll show you guys. This is, I don't have a lot written on here, but each week I have it in here, and then I write down who I've talked to. I track how many leads I got each day on here. I track how many people I saw face to face, how many phone calls I had. So how many people did I speak to each day? And then how many did I go to any events, networking meetings, teaching classes, things like that. How many videos have I sent out this week? how many handwritten thank you cards. So I have handwritten thank you cards with the envelopes, ready to go out. So we send hand thank you cards after we pre-approve somebody, after we've closed a transaction with them. So there's a great way, again, to stay connected to people, of thinking of reasons why you can write a handwritten note card to them. How many leads have I gotten? And then how many deals and pre-apps? But there's also one for realtors, and I thought that was this, and it's not. This one's for the lenders. So on the realtor one, it tracks how many buyers did you agreements and how many listing agreements. So it tracks all of that information on there. So like I said, I am time blocking every week, every day, at least an hour to hour and a half of making phone calls so that I fill up this greatness tracker, so that I make sure. My goal is to talk to 13 people a day. So if again, figuring out what that looks like for you. And it's all about the activities that I need to do to be able to hit my goals. So thinking about, for you guys, how many people you think you need to speak to each day to hit the goals that we're talking about, that you're wanting to plan for the future. So, and again, treating that as an appointment. I try to stick to it. I will tell you, I'm not the best, and Amy can attest to that with my time blocking, but it's definitely a work in progress. But Amy, I also print out my calendar. Amy prints this out for me every day, and I write on here and I check off as I do it. So, I have that on my desk. I also have a call sheet on my desk every day too. So I write who I called to, did I speak to them, or I leave a message, and then I take this and put it on my greatness tracker. And I do this because it allows me to make notes on here of what my follow-up might be for that person. So something I need to share with the team, something I need to do personally, whatever it may be. So again, that would be something for you to be able to use and then put it into your CRM to keep track of the notes after you talk to them. And the thing why I like this form is because it allows me to track how many people I've called and how many people have I spoken to. Because again, if you don't track it, you feel like, oh, I made a lot of phone calls today. And then you go and look and you're like, oh gosh, I only called 4 people, or actually only spoke to 2, but it felt like a whole lot more because there might've been other activities that took up your day. So that's why tracking is really so important. That's going to help you hit these goals and get the leads to add to that lead tracker. And one of the things that my coach always says is what you're doing now and what you are, leads you have today is predicting what you're going to be, business you're going to have in 3 months. So if you're not doing the activities now, 3 months from now is when you're going to feel the pain. You're going to realize that I wasn't doing the prospecting and making the calls that I need to do. And now I'm not going to have any transactions, or the transactions amount that I wanted. And that's where we're talking about keeping, it continuous and steady rather than hitting those peaks and valleys. See if anyone has any comments here. These programs are going to definitely be beneficial for my business. Would send me the spreadsheets. Yes. Okay. Anyone have any thoughts or questions on the greatness tracker and how you use it? And again, how it could potentially be, beneficial for your business?
I have a question about something else.
Mm-hmm.
About how you partner with vendors, because you mentioned about the buy, that you can invite your client or you can send them a free buy like in Thanksgiving. So what is the best way to partner with a vendor that they can provide this, which is not going to cost you a lot?
So the pie giveaways, is that what you're talking about? Like, how's the best
Yeah.
way to manage that?
Uh-huh.
Well, I mean, there's a couple different, like I have a couple different agents that I work with do it. Both are doing it that I've heard different ways. So one, they sent out an announcement that said, we're doing a pie giveaway, we'll be sending out more details soon. You could do an evite, you could do an email, asking them to, here's your options, send us back which pie you would like. And then there's a couple ways that you can do it to get it to them. You could either do the pop by like we talked about and drop the pie off and say, I'm planning to come this day between this and this time. And if they can't be there, they could put a cooler out or something like that. Or you could set up a time of like, I'm going to be, at this coffee shop, or I'm going to be at my office here between this and this time, please and come pick up your pies then. So there's different ways, whatever works best for you, and geographically how spread out your clients may be could be determining which one's the best option. I think for use of your time, the best option is have them come and get it. So having a set time, like on a Saturday afternoon or a Sunday afternoon, say, I'm going to be here at this location from this and this time, I'll have your pies ready. please come and pick it up. Does that help? Does that answer your question?
Yeah, no, my question was like, if me as an agent, I'm going to use you to help some of my clients to get approved for a loan. So you helping your agent to with the expenses if they want to buy those buy, or the agent buying this buy on his own. And then if you have 100 clients, so it's going to cost a lot to buy a buy for 100 clients. So do you partner with specific partner like bakery store or whatever? So they give you a discounted rate or what? Or discounted fee?
I would suggest trying to find a local bakery, because there's some, supporting your community, I think, is super helpful. And again, can create those connections that we're talking about with businesses. So I would just, try to find bakeries in your area, see what, if you can negotiate it with them, or, you have to think about like the commission this is what I think about the commission I made on a transaction with a client and what it cost me to, buy them, an admission to Cox Farm is well worth it in my eyes. And same thing with pie. But again, that's totally, that's up to you. Regarding realtors, there are some realtors that do this pie thing on the pie on their own. Some of the realtors I have helped sponsor. I don't pay for it all, I can't do that. But I definitely help contribute to them because I've worked with them for years and we do a lot of business together. So I think you can find, lenders that you can team up with to do that for sure. Or there's other, like some of these events, like I would say you could team up with other realtors too, to make it cost effective. So like I've rented out a movie theater before, but I know other realtors have had like 5 realtors do the event together. So it helped reduce the costs as well. So I think there's different ways to be able to help with the cost and expenses of it.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Sherry mentioned BJ's. I know BJ's it's super cheap. Like I said, if you can find someone that, a pie that's going to be cost effective, but also supporting your local community, that's the way I would recommend. But again, it's all about what works for you all. So it's up to you guys and what you can do for sure. She mentioned giveaways, a bag with sanitizer, magnets, other little giveaways too, which is great. So anything that you can do that's, giving back. And the movie theaters are doing private showings. Yep. That's, they've been doing that for the past couple of years. So that's why I'm saying if you team up with, if you have other realtors in your office who wanted to do an event and you teamed up with one, it's a great way to be able to do it and make it much more cost effective. All right. We really talked about this. Also, I will mention about videos. If you guys aren't doing them, I highly recommend starting, because I do think it's something that's helps you connect with your sphere beyond just writing. I know a lot of several realtors I work with are also doing newsletters. So there's a lot of different things that you can do right now that puts you out rather than just a form email or just a standard email that you might send. So think about different, creative ways that you can, that fit for you. Also thinking about creating a brand for yourself. Like there's a mortgage loan officer I know in Texas, and her brand is the Mortgage Nerd, and she's always wearing big glasses and all this kind of stuff. And she has a lot of branding associated with it. So if there's anything that you feel very connected to and it feels like represents you, thinking about that so that it's kind of catchy and, makes people remember you. So anything that you can do to kind of create that, that connection. My goodness, I don't know what's happening. Well, I think that's it. I think that's the end of my presentation. Anyone have any questions, thoughts, anything you'd like to share? Would love to hear it. Well, hopefully you guys found this helpful.
That's very helpful. Thank you.
Thank you, Anna. So something I would recommend following up from this class is, there was several things I feel like I shared that could be impactful to your business. So thinking about, what each of those ideas are, ranking them of where you feel like they could be, how quickly that you could implement them, the impact you think they'll have on your business, and then kind of coming up with a list and then starting at the top and just do one and then work your way down to do the next one and just keep going until you start to implement more and more. So hopefully that, this happens and doesn't just happen here in the class, but doesn't go anywhere. I think taking on one activity can help you kind of keep your business moving forward. So we will follow up. We'll send the forms that we shared with you today to all of you who attended, because Cindy will give us an updated list. If you guys ever have any questions or need anything or want to follow up with me about, how we use each of these forms or some of the activities we're doing, I'm happy to chat. Just let us know. We'll schedule a time to talk further. All right. Thanks. So thank you all for coming. I really do appreciate it.